That's me and my husband as kids. We grew up, got married, and had a kid of our own. Pregnancy flew by, and in months I was holding my beautiful baby girl. With help from God and support from family and friends, we made it through the sleepless nights and celebrated the precious milestones. I'd love to take you on the journey with me as I juggle being a wife, stay-at-home mom, and working in the fashion and entertainment industry. It's only the beginning, and it's only reality. Hello and welcome to another episode of It's Only Reality. I'm Kytia L'amour and this is my husband Jarrell. And something came up when we were talking, and it was basically how we saved ourselves for marriage. We waited to have sex until we were married. And there was a lot of people who criticized us and thought we were very strange and very old-fashioned and that we were missing out on a lot and we were grown and we could do what we wanted. And we just wanted to talk about some points that people don't really think about when they say, like, you should just go have fun, sow your royal oats, and then you can settle down and get married and be with that person for life. So there's a few topics. There's actually 5 things that we wanted to talk about. The first thing that people told me when I said that I was waiting, and this was in high school even, people were just saying, like, it's not a big deal. Like, for you to have sex, it's really not a big deal. And I will say, yes, it is. Having had sex, having had waited for sex, I would say it's a very big deal. I'm glad that I waited. And a lot of people won't tell you that maybe if you have a fling or a one-night stand, and even if you're with multiple partners, that is a piece of you that you're never going to get back. That is a very intimate connection. That's the most intimate connection you can have with someone. So if you're doing this, that's just a lot of things that you're never going to forget about. That's someone that you're going to be deeply and emotionally and intimately connected with for the rest of your life. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to wait, because I don't want to be comparing. I don't want to be feeling like I'm missing out or feeling like I should have done more before I got married. I wanted to be content and know that there's going to be a person for me that God has for me, and he's going to be compatible in every single way, and that I wanted to just save all of myself for that person. I didn't even really date because I know emotionally, even just investing that time with someone, that's still going to stick with you. That's still going to be something that is in your memories, and you may compare your husband or boyfriend to someone in the past. So I just wanted to kind of keep the most of myself that I could for this person that I wanted to marry. And that's one of the things that like I said, people criticize me for, but looking back on it, I have no regrets at all. And some people have said that they've had regrets about giving their virginity away too early, or to someone they didn't really love, or to someone they weren't going to marry. And that happens, and God can restore, those feelings and stuff. But to start with a clean slate, I feel is the best option. So if you are being criticized for waiting, and people saying it's not a big deal, another flip side of that is, well, if it's not a big deal, why do I need to do it? If sex really isn't a big deal, then what is the rush? Why are you pressuring me to do this? You had something to say about this, right?
I did have something to say about it. Hey guys. Well, I did want to open up with men do actually wait to save themselves for marriage too. I'm one of those people. It's not impossible. So if you're looking for a husband that can do that or will do that, it's not impossible in today's age, basically. But another thing, to the point, the 5 points, a lot of times people will say, you're missing out on a lot of great people.
No.
Yes, Petra, they do say that. They'll say you're missing out on a lot of great guys or girls that you could be with. So why kind of put it off? Why not play the field and see what's out there? And the problem with that is, well, first of all, the mentality is kind of like, if there's always someone great out there, you'll never be content, because you'll always be looking for, well, I found someone who I love and they're great, but there could be someone better. And if that's the kind of outlook that you have, then you never really will settle down. You'll always be playing the field and thinking the grass is always greener on the other side. A lot of times people do talk about STDs and the dangers in that, because there's a lot of contraceptive, but there's no 100% foolproof way to kind of protect yourself. So there's always a chance that you're gonna take that with you. But another thing that people don't really consider with those types of relationships and just playing the field is you take a little bit of the person that you're with into your next relationship. like those memories and those feelings and those things will always be with you. To Tia's point about starting with a clean slate, those kind of things you can't forget or put the past behind you in that way. You're inviting a lot of former ideas or concepts of what intimate means or relationships that you have in the past. So there is a danger on the emotional side of what you bring into your future relationships. What experiences you have earlier in life, that can totally taint your marriage, when you do find the one. So people see it as a benefit to kind of test drive or see what a relationship would be like and having sex like that. But there is a lot of potential harm that people don't really consider and they just rush into it. Those things are dangers you can avoid if you just save yourself for the one that you want to spend your life with. Is there something else you have on that?
I think that's a really good point because, and also I wanted to add, we're not trying to criticize anybody who hasn't waited. We're not trying to judge you or condemn you for choices that you make. We're basically just coming from the point of, we were very criticized and people thought we were strange for doing what we did, and we were constantly almost having to explain ourselves, which we didn't really have to, but it's kind of like, well, if you're gonna have to explain yourselves, these are some points that you can add and things that you can tell people that they may not even think about or consider. That's basically the reason why we're doing this, is to help people to understand why we made the choice that we feel was best for us, and it's basically what is best for us. We're not trying to tell anybody what to do or, like I said, condemn you or judge you for the choices that you make. It's mainly just, hey, people have asked us a lot, why did we do this? And we're just kind of explaining it and putting it out there because you guys might be curious. Last time we had a conversation about some misconceptions people may have about marriage, and one of the things that came up was, why is the divorce rate so much higher now than it was in the generations before us? And another thing that people have said to us about waiting to have sex is, well, you're just very old-fashioned. People don't do that anymore. And I would say to that, well, there's a reason why people in the generations past did what they did, and one of the things they didn't do, I feel, was sleeping with multiple people before they got married. I don't even think there was a lot of these fears of, what if you're not compatible in the bed, and what if maybe you should try this out. And it's like, we go by what the Bible says, and as far as what marriage was, it was one person with another one person committed to marriage for life and making these vows, and you want to be submitting yourself to one another and completely fulfilling one another, and that is one of those things is sexually. So we just basically agreed, it's like, well, we're gonna do what we're both comfortable with. If we want to try different things, it's basically has to be something we agree on, and hey, this doesn't work for me, or that doesn't feel great, well then let's talk about it, let's have a discussion. You don't just have to be like, well, this is how I like it, so I'm gonna do with that what I want to do. That's not how it should work. So if you have two people who are willing to have a great sex life, they're gonna do what it takes. I really just felt like I would wait to the one who I was gonna marry and give myself to them completely, and that's why I prayed and wanted to know who was the one, so that I could save myself and be ready and wait for marriage and not have all these wild temptations. So that's why I have the video. It's called How I Knew My Husband Was the One, and in that I just share about why I waited and what that process was like, and I'm very glad that I waited for him. And there were times where it's like, oh gosh, like I'm feeling these feelings in my body, and I know I'm gonna marry you, but I mean I'm gonna hold out to the wedding date, because why do I need to go earlier than that? If I know we're gonna be married, I can wait. And there was something that you have that's similar to that line of thought.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm just trying not to get in a car accident here. Okay, so one of the things that I have heard is people will bring up, well, why wait to have sex until you're married if you already know that person is going to be the one you are going to marry? Like, what's the difference of having like a piece of paper to say you could do it? It talks to people's lack of understanding of how important a covenant and a commitment to one another is in marriage. It's not just a piece of paper, it's a binding contract that you are devoted to this person, and if you don't have that, there's nothing really joining two people together other than that they happen to be together, and they can just leave at any time. There's no, like, if you want to commit to someone, why wouldn't you want to make it an official commitment? But even to the point where people are saying we can just test drive and and see, like, make sure that you're compatible in that way and all these other things. Everything that comes your way as a married husband and wife, you can't pretend those kind of circumstances or those kind of scenarios. You just have to kind of go through it together, and then you kind of grow, and it's always a work in progress. That's kind of what I say in regards to that. I think it's even funny, or it's interesting, the terminology that you use. It said that you lose your virginity or you give it up, and that kind of thing is something intimate and special and between two people. And for me, like, why would I want to lose that or give it up to someone who I'm not with forever? I know a lot of people haven't waited and they may still be looking for the one. You don't have to feel shame or guilt about the decisions you've made in the past. If you do commit and want to change your life, that's still possible for people out there. I just wanted to say that too.
Yeah, I think I'm glad that you brought up the thing about shame and guilt, because there's, even in the church, there's been this weird thing where people don't want to talk about sex because it's like dirty and it's like secret and it's just so like hidden and you're not supposed to think about it, you're not supposed to feel certain ways. And I feel so bad that people have to feel so ashamed about the idea of sex, because our bodies were designed to have sex. And even how the topic of, well, how are you gonna, like, what if they're terrible in bed? What if you get married? And it's like, it's not that hard. Like, our bodies were created to do a certain thing. It's really not that complicated. And if we're not talking about it in the church, if we're not talking about why God created sex, why it's good for the marriage, why it's good to wait, for me it was hard to turn my mind off of, okay, I'm not allowed to do that. And now I am, and it's like, wait a minute, I'm not gonna get in trouble, this is okay, like, I'm allowed to do this. And it's like, you shouldn't have to deal with that. It should be like, finally, you know, I held out, I waited for this, and this is, you know, a gift that I get to get within the confines of marriage. And that's something that I hope that you guys take away from this too, is like, this is a gift. As Jarrell said, it's like, this is a gift that you're giving to each other. This is something that you want to be an amazing way of becoming intimate and pleasing each other, pleasing the Lord in your marriage. And you don't want it to be a thing of shame, well, oh gosh, I did it, so now it's too late for me, or oh, I shouldn't have done that, or like, man, I can't wait because my life is going to be complete when I get it. It's like, no, it's not that serious. It's amazing, but it's not like, oh, like, that's the only reason to hold out for marriage, that's the only reason to be married. There's so many different levels of how amazing marriage is. And another thing is, like, if this is an amazing gift, the way that yes, Petra, the way that the world has kind of designed dating is like this very long, drawn out process of getting to know this person, and then you have a long engagement, and it's like you're waiting 5 years from when you met this person to when you actually walk down the aisle. I even struggled with, like, I guess I'm supposed to be, even when I meet them and I know they're the one, am I supposed to wait for 2 years? Because that's what people do. That seems to be the thing. And I feel like nowadays, engagement should be short. You should know that that person is the one you're supposed to marry. Engagement should basically last long enough to plan a wedding. And because once you know they're the one, then be the one. Like, when God brings them into your life, I feel personally that when you are ready for marriage, God will bring that person into your life. There's things that you obviously need to work on and prepare for before you actually get married. Hopefully you've been courting for a while, so you know this person, you know their family, you know that you're on the same page about a lot of things, and then you plan your wedding, you get married. So that's why if you're going to be knowing that person is the one, there's going to be a lot of temptation to do things. So I just wanted to let you guys know that that's where our mindset comes from. That's what we've been thinking about and dealing with, and we just wanted to explain that. Not that we have to, not that you have to explain your choices to anybody, but know why you're doing what you do and make choices that are going to benefit your life for the rest of your life. And that's what we wanted to share with you today. So we will see you next time. Bye.
Say bye, Petra.
Petra, say bye-bye. Oh, yeah, that's right. She's sleeping. So if you have any questions, leave a comment below. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching, and bye again.
Good night.
Good night. Have sweet dreams. They need to know the things that you like. You need to know the things that they like. I'm going to finish this when we get out of the tub. The tub.
We're in the tub.
We're in the tub, so we can't. Okay, the tunnel. See the light at the end of the tunnel. Ah!